Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is a series of videos about SolidWorks scripting using Python. And in this video, we are going to start the first project. In the first project, we are going to sketch, or better to say, edit a sketch in SolidWorks using Python. And for that, I have a beam here. You can see structural shapes for different beams, and I have chosen this one, wide flange section or W-shaped beams. I have a table here. As you can see, there are different information here. For example, the name of the beams, the depths, and other things. And if I want to explain them, the most important things we are going to work with are D, which means depths. We have TW, we have BF here, we have TF here, and that's it. So to sketch this beam or edit it, we need 4 different parameters, as we can name them, such as D, TF, TW, and BF. Okay, let's start. For the first part or first step, I'm going to sketch this beam here in SolidWorks manually, because personally I believe we use macro or Python scripting to just or mostly edit parts or edit a sketch in SolidWorks. We are not going to create a new, I don't know, a sketch or new part using scripting, because it's too hard and it's likely to make mistake there. So personally, I like to use Python scripting to just edit sketches or parts in SolidWorks. Okay, let me to sketch this beam in SolidWorks first. Okay, it's done. Now I'm going to use a smart dimension to set dimension for each of these parameters. As we talk about it, we have 4 different parameters. I'm going to name them as they are appear in this table, because it will get much easier to edit them using codes. I'm going to set dimension for each of these lines. Okay, as you saw, I tried to set dimension for each of parameters. As we said, we have 4 parameters and name them as this table. For example, for this line, we have TF, so I name it TF because it gets much easier to edit it. And we know this line should be equal to this line. So with equations, I make them equal, so I don't need to edit this line and this line twice. I just need to edit this line, for example. I did the same for example for this line and this line. So now I have 4 parameters, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I need to edit them using code in Python. Okay, I'm going to edit these parameters as it appear in the first rows. Yeah, and I'm going to show you that editing each of these parameters works, and let's start. As you can see, we have the first row in SolidWorks now. So now we can edit them according to this number. For that, in SolidWorks, first I'm going to run my libraries, then connect SolidWorks to Python. And here I have entered all of this data, for example, the name, the D, TW, BF, TF in Python, as you can see them here. And I'm going to upload this code in GitHub so you can download them and run them in your own computer. As you can see, I have name, D, TW, BF, and TF. Now we can start coding. First, I need to write a code to be able to edit this beam using Python. And for that, as we talked about it in the previous video, which was about how to edit and create a dimension, we need to define some variable to be able to edit these dimensions here. Let me create some variables here. For example, we have the dimen, or I'm going to name it ddim, or it's better like this. Okay, part dot parameter, and I'm going to pass the name for d, which will be this. I'm going to copy its name and paste it here. Next, we have tw. I'm going to name it wdim, and I'm going to copy this code and paste it here, and just going to change its name. Okay. Next, we have bf dim. Again, I'm going to change the name, and at last we have tf dim, and I'm going to change its name to tf. Okay, let me run this code. We have some errors here. Okay, unfortunately it is parameter, not parameters. I'm going to delete the s and run it another time. Okay, you can see now we have access to each of these parameters, and we can able to change them. To change them, I'm going to create another block of code, and to change the dimension, as we talked about it in the previous video, I'm going to say ddim. For example, I need to change the dimension for ddim dot system value, and I'm going to assign, for example, 600 here. Now it is 611. I'm going to assign 600, but this should be in millimeters, but we know the SolidWorks gets just meters, so I need to convert it. I'm going to do this, and it will convert millimeters to meters. So I'm going to run this block of code. And as you can see, now this line, or D, is equal to 600 instead of 611. Okay, now we are able to change the dimensions for each of these parameters. I'm going to change this block of code a little bit. And for that, I'm going to use a for or a loop, because I need to change all of these parameters to all of these numbers. So I need a loop for that, and I'm going to say for I in range from 0 to length of, for example, names. Okay, now we are able to write our code inside the loop. Okay, all of these parameters are in millimeters, so I need to convert it to meters. I'm going to multiply this number to each of them to be able to pass these parameters to meters to SolidWorks. I'm going to delete this block of code because we don't need it. Let me rearrange my windows. I'm going to add a sleep in this loop because we should be able to see how it changed. I'm going to import time first, and here at the end of the loop I'm going to say time dot sleep, for example, for I don't know 5 seconds, because we need to see how these parameters are changed during this editing. Okay, let me run this block of code. First, I need to run this block of code. Okay, sorry. Now I think we are able to run this. As you can see, it tries to change all of the parameters for us. And here, it is here, then here. I'm comparing D to this parameter. You can see different one, for example, 179, which would be here. It's done now. And for the last parameters, we have 459 for D, and I don't know, 154 for, which one was that? BF. So we can see our code is working. Next, I like to first change each of these parameters and then save it. The purpose of this project is when you are going to run different simulation, for example, FDM in different beams with different shapes and different parameters, I mean, and you need to change them each time and perform a FDM for them. So for that, I'm assuming I'm going to create a sketch first. I'm going to edit it and then save it. And for example, I'm going to run it in another application, for example, like ANSYS. Now I like to change my code in the way that be able to save my sketch with a specific name. I'm going to use this name for my file, and we talk about how to save a file in SolidWorks using Python. I'm going to use that code and add it at the end of this function. For saving a document in SolidWorks, we talked about it in the video. You can see it up here and you can watch it to learn how to save as or use save as function. I'm going to just paste it here. And as you can see, we have three arguments, but the most important one is the first one, which specifies the direction here, I mean here, and at last the name of the file we want to save our document. I'm going to change this code in the way that we be able to save our file with our specific name. For that, first I need to specify where I want to save my file. So I like to save my file in drive E and in this folder. So I'm going to copy this path and I'm going to create a new variable called, for example, path. I'm going to paste it here. And for the name part, I'm going to just add it like this. Names, and I like these parameters. Okay, some final touches, a backslash here. And at the end, I need to add the type of the file I need to be saved. Okay, I need to add some more stuff here. For example, backslash here. Okay, names, and I think it's done. I forgot this one here. Now I'm going to paste this variable instead of this argument. And I'm going to delete sleep because I don't need it. Let me rearrange my windows here. As you can see, the folder or the location I'm going to save my files is empty. And let me run this block of code. It starts to editing the sketch for me. And at the end, it's going to save it here. Let me rearrange it again. Okay. As you can see, we have 12 different parts or 12 different data here. SolidWorks tries to create each one and then it tries to save it in the location I specified for it in Python. And it's finished now. As you can see, after 50 seconds, SolidWorks is able to create all of the sketch and save them in the location where I specified for it with the name I specified for it. So if we consider this project or this little project a part of a bigger project, we now able to create a sketch for our project, and now we can create a, I don't know, for example, use a extrude to extrude this sketch and create a real beam, and then we are able to export it and use it in different applications such as ANSYS or ABAQUS. Okay guys, this is the end of video. In this video we start and complete a very small project, but now you can see with Python scripting we are able to do very big stuff, such as starting a very large project and work with it in different applications and different fields. In this video or in this project we try to create a sketch and then editing just using codes. See you guys in the next videos, and goodbye.